Ladies and gentlemen, we're glad to have you join us on your favorite podcast, Inside Life, the Champion's Desk. Today, as always, we have a very special guest in the house. Guess who this special guest of ours is someone whose face you already know. But you know, there are things you never heard about him. Today, of course, if you keep listening, you will definitely get to know he is a renowned Nigerian environmentalist, the chairman of Lekki Urban Forest and Animal Shelter Initiative, LUFASA, a radio host, author, farmer, and a filmmaker as well. Known for his passion for conservation and climate change activism. He has received numerous awards for his work, including the Nigerian Silver Bird Man of the Year and DW German TV Network Environment Hero Award. He is a certified environmental extension farmer for International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Ibadan, and operates Majekodunmi Agricultural Project, MAP, an agroforestry-based conservation farm in Lagos, the nation's commercial center. You would agree with me. Of course, this guest of ours is none other than Desmond O Majekodunmi. I got it this time. I got it.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Thank you. Sir, well, it's a pleasure having you here in the studio with us. Growing up, I watched you on television. I would be like, who is this man that is so passionate about the environment? And then looking at you, on a second thought, I thought to myself, yeah, he looks like he is biracial. That could be where he is getting the influence from. That was what I thought, at least.
Well, actually, I'm multiracial.
Multiracial?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. Multiracial. Well, my father, who is Yoruba, has different aspects of the Yoruba ethnicity within him. You know, Yoruba have the Ibadan, they have the Ondo, they have the Abeokuta, all those different sub-tribes within them. That's why they have different dialects and so on. So there are slight variations, and my mother had variations of Anglo-Saxon within her because she was English-Irish.
Beautiful.
But in reality now, in this modern world, when people ask me where I'm from, I say, well, I come from a tiny little dot, a little speck, and it's called planet Earth. And that's actually what the Earth is when you look at it in relation to the cosmos.
It is.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's a tiny little place. I mean, we have our little solar system with all the other planets there, Neptune, Mars, Venus, all circulating around the sun. But that solar system is inside a galaxy, which we call the Milky Way galaxy, and that galaxy has billions of suns.
Wow.
And as if that's not enough, there are billions of galaxies out there.
I can see how tiny
little space, but it's a very, very special.
I can imagine.
It's so special because with all the telescopic technology and so on the way to sort of assess possible atmospheres around planets and so on, and we're seeing millions and millions and millions of them now. This one, so far, appears to be the only one that has the capacity to support life, planet Earth. It's an extremely special place. So I'm a very proud citizen of planet Earth.
I am too.
Yeah, we should be. We should be very, very, very proud of what we have here. Unfortunately, we're not behaving.
The most friendly planet.
It is, but we're not behaving as if we are proud.
I won't let you get into that yet. I know how passionate you are about the environment. Right here now, I think we're more interested in getting to know you as a person. Of course, the environment and the environmental issues are part of you, and as such, we must dive into that as well. But basically, can we get to meet you, sir? Where were you given birth to? Who are your parents, and where did you spend most of your childhood?
Okay, yeah. Well, I was given birth in a location that is familiar to everybody, but the name of it at that time would not have been familiar to many people, especially our lovely Gen Z people. I was given birth just next to a place called the Race Course in Lagos. And the Race Course is actually what we now call Tafawa Balewa Square.
Wow.
And it was concretized to become a marching ground and all this. But way back, it used to be a place where people would actually race horses. So it was a lovely place to be born and grow up my first few years. And then my later informative years, 9, 10, 11, we moved to Ikoyi, where I was actually influenced. The first influence for me to become an environmentalist happened.
I'm very interested
in this house that we lived in the compound of the house. There was something in that compound that actually sparked off the interest in Ikoyi. At 9, 10 years old.
9, 10 years old. What could that be?
Want to know what it was?
Yes, of course.
It was a cashew tree.
Yes. As common as it is.
As common as it is.
It did the magic.
It did the magic because that cashew
God
tree.
could use anything.
Yes.
Anything.
Oh yes. Yeah. He will. He'll use all sorts of things. And he used that cashew tree because it was such a wonderful thing. Strong branches. So our parents were okay with us sitting on the branches. And then when the season came, you get this beautiful cashew fruit. You'll be able to eat the fruit there. And then you'll be able to take the nuts and cook the nuts. And so I kind of like fell in love with that tree because it served me all my young years, right up into my teenage years. That tree was constantly, steadily giving cashew.
Talking about your childhood still, how would you describe your childhood?
Oh, it was a wonderful experience.
No hard times. No, it was all rosy.
The childhood was totally rosy because I was growing up in a country where people were so friendly. Nigerians were some of the friendliest, warmest, caring people that you could be exposed to. Very, very, very caring, warm with greetings and it was a wonderful childhood. But, I was so lucky that, despite the fact that my father had worked extremely hard to get where he was a medical practitioner, specialist in 2 different fields. And, it's a lot of hard work. And we used to hardly see him at home because he'd get emergency call to the hospital to go and deliver baby, to go and do this, that, and the other. So despite him being reasonably well off, he ensured that we appreciated the value of things, the value of money. Like my first bicycle, it took me almost 2 years be able to get that bicycle because I had to want it. I had to do a bit of work in order that I could earn a little bit of money in order to be able to get. He ensured that he didn't spoil his children too much anyway, apart from spoil us with a lot of love and affection. So it was a beautiful childhood. I mean, growing up in Nigeria was a wonderful thing in those days.
Those days.
Yes.
I like the fact that you made mention of that because not many of should I say the Gen Zs? So much of that. Yes. Myself, I would say I enjoy a bit of the Nigeria that was really, really working. For the fact that I'm not Gen Z, but I'm almost I'm almost there. But honestly, my childhood, I would say, was quite pretty good too. It's compared to what I'm seeing today.
To what a lot of them are having to go
exposed
through.
to.
Yeah, but it's a temporary flick and it can flick back easily. But just talking about the Gen Z, and we might come back to it a little bit later, I actually was officially declared in Unilag by the students of Unilag when I went to go and give a lecture there. A lot of students were there. They declared me as the only white-haired Gen Z. Because I spoke
a round of applause.
I spoke their language.
Wow. I love that.
And when you're ready, I'll give you a little taste of what I said to them. When you're ready.
I'm very much ready. In fact, I'm born ready. but then let's take it one after the other. And also, what schools did you attend?
I attended King's College. Well, I attended Corona School.
Wow, the almighty King's College.
Well, Corona School first, which my mother was very much involved in. And then King's College, which I actually kind of like manipulated myself to run away from because I heard that there was a new school that I opened in Ibadan called the International School, and it was co-ed. So the choice of staying in a school with just a whole bunch of guys or going to a school with a whole bunch of guys and girls, I took the other option.
The people, where should we come in to help about the environment, how the environment is being endangered and all this? How do we help as the ordinary people?
Yes. Well, the first thing is to know that even though we are in certain terms classified as ordinary people, but actually we, the people sitting in this particular location in the tropical continent of Africa, right here in this location called Nigeria, which is actually in some cases, when you look at the map of Africa, is the trigger. Yeah. We are extraordinary, ordinary people. And why I'm saying that is that we have a massive, huge population of young people, especially the Gen Zs. And you see, we Gen Zs are going to...
proudly.
Are going to very...
certified.
Yeah, definitely.
by
the Unilag youth.
Yes, Unilag youth.
Yes. We're going to... What has actually started is a youth quake. And it's been a little bit in the development. It's a youth quake. I remember giving a lecture quite some time back, one of the governors of one of the states, I think it was Ogun State, and a bunch of youth there. And I told them, I said, well, right now, there's a revolution happening. And the weapon of warfare for that revolution, I have one of them right here in my pocket, and I'm going to bring it out. When I put my hand in the pocket, come and see the security men. Hey, they were getting nervous. But I quickly pulled out my...
Your phone.
Oh, yes. And I said, this is what is linking up the young people of Nigeria.
Yes, and that is what it is.
Oh, and we are getting more tuned. And actually, a lot of the young people are actually more knowledgeable than the old people.
Very
They might not have the necessary wisdom to utilize the knowledge effectively as it should be. And this is why a few of the elder people will be around. But what is happening is a youth quake. And it's not just the youth of Nigeria, although Nigeria has to rise as the giant of Africa and lead West Africa at the very least. Yes. And then the rest of the world, different youth people, different youth groups all over the world are going to join in with this when they start seeing what the elder generations have done to their very life support system, just because they want to maximize the profit, worshipping the prophet and sacrificing the people and the planet because of the profit.
At the expense of life itself.
At the expense of life itself. But the question is, what good is money on a dead planet? And this is exactly what we're doing. So we're going to see a rising up of the youth, and there's going to be a peaceful revolution because the numbers are just going to speak for themselves.
The numbers. Yes.
Hundreds of millions of youth all over West Africa are going to join with the Nigerian move, the extraordinary people, and they will instill a far more effective democratic system whereby the numbers will speak, because the numbers will be ratified, will be counted. My bank account is here. I can send money from this account to another account, and it is secure and safe because the system is going to see who is sending it, is going to see my identity.
Exactly.
So I'm very, very, very encouraged by what is going on here. And this giant of Africa that has been crawling, just crawling on the ground for so long because of irresponsible leadership, because of leaders not understanding the job description, which is you are a civil servant, serve the people, and as you do good for the people, the good will come back to you in multiples. You do good for a million people, you get a multiple of million goodness comes to you, your true you, which is a spirit soul. Yes. So I'm very optimistic that this environment thing, because the pressure is on, the emergency is on, I'm so optimistic, my brother, that we're going to see massive positive change, where we're going to see this country arise. The giant of Africa will stand up, and she will be the trigger that will start a whole transformation all around the world. I'm encouraged.
Honestly, this is wealth of knowledge we are just drawing from this beautiful day.
You see, the reality is that a very, very interesting phase of humanity's presence on this earth has now arrived. Because we as human beings have refused to live in harmony with the earth.
With the earth.
Like all the other living entities of the earth. They're all living in harmony.
Yeah.
And we have expressed our negativities so much against each other. That's, we've been doing that, wars and fighting and stealing and greed and so on. We've done that, from time immemorial. But the difference now is that we are no longer just expressing this wickedness and hard-heartedness towards each other. We are expressing it to nature. And there's one thing about nature: fundamental laws govern nature. What you sow in nature is what you reap.
Yeah, clearly.
The law of action begetting reactions.
It's garbage in, garbage out.
Absolutely. Garbage in, garbage out. And we are putting so much garbage into nature. She is showing us with extremely severe weather patterns now. We're having situations where we don't call it rainfall anymore. We call it rain bomb. Because you're going to have so much rain falling. There was a place in Valencia, Spain, I think it was about 3 months ago, where they had, in 8 hours, 1 year's rain fell. In 8 hours. It just overwhelmed the place, man.
Wow.
It carried mud. Mud picked up cars. The cars were like little pebbles in the sand. Oh, shit.
What do you think would have been the cause?
The cause was directly the simplest of sciences. That I learned it in my mother's kitchen, that when you apply heat to water, the water evaporates.
Yes.
More heat, more evaporation. We're applying more heat to this planet, which actually is planet water, because 70% of this planet is ocean or lake or river or stream. And we're applying more heat, and we're having far more atmospheric water vapor, and definitely that will condense and it will fall. Boom! 1 year's rain in 8 hours. And it's happened in other locations around the world. And then you'll have these forest fires. You'll either have extreme drought somewhere or massive rain somewhere. And it's just the beginning. If we continue the pollution, nature will give it back to us. And that's exactly what is happening. But the good news is,
thank God there is good news. I was waiting for that.
The good news is that nature is blowing the alarm bell, telling humanity, you have to change.
More like warning us.
Thank you. Warning us. That I'm just giving you the warning signs now. Which is why in 2015, the United Nations, they have this conference every year, and the Secretary General at that time, he said, mankind is waging war against nature, and this is suicidal because nature always fights back, and she's fighting back. That was in 2015.
And is the truth. Is the truth.
And the interesting thing, at that conference, all our world leaders was there. Our president, every other president was there. Obama, everybody, they all signed agreement. We're going to reduce the greenhouse gas. We're going to reduce the CO2. We have to stop it. We have to stop it. By 2023, the level of CO2 had never ever been so high in recorded history.
And don't you think the environment is much more in danger today?
Yes.
With President Trump?
Well, yes, definitely.
From the little I understand, he's not a believer in the climate change project.
I know.
I know that. How do you think this would affect the world?
What is happening is that a very, very interesting scenario.
But does he have the capacity to play down that project?
For a while he might, but nature herself will just show very clearly and very blatantly. Already in America, they had 2 hurricane cyclone storms in, I think it was Miami, Florida, somewhere like that. Yeah, were unprecedented. Those storms are 1 in 100 years. 2 of them came within 2 weeks of each other in the same location. And that's just the beginning. It's just it's an interesting time. So nature is going to make a complete fool of him, but God might use him to do some positive things.
Yes.
God Almighty
that would in turn turn out positive.
Yeah, some of the things. But the other side, if he doesn't really have a total about face, but in America they're actually ignoring him in a lot of the states. They have an interesting democratic system that the various states are pretty independent, so they can basically do good things for themselves despite what the president might be saying at the top. So it's an interesting scenario. But definitely,
what do you think is the pressing environmental issue in our day-to-day, the most pressing?
There's three.
The one that should be declared more like an emergency.
No, it's already been declared.
More like a quick fix.
No, it's already been declared.
Quick fix.
Yeah. Because last year at the same conference, I said they have a yearly conference. So at the same conference that they had last year, the Secretary General told people, they said, the climate situation is no longer a crisis. It's an emergency. He declared emergency over the global warming because we're skyrocketing. You see, the danger of it is that when you take it to a certain level, you start to cause a die-off of the forests. Nigeria and Congo and a few other countries and Brazil, we have some of the biggest forests in the world. But when it's too hot, those forests start to die back and they start to play a different role. Instead of absorbing that carbon dioxide, which is what the leaves do. This is why, the miracle of getting oxygen from nature is a miracle. Because it takes what we give out and what we're giving out with burning things and so on, which is the CO2, converts it with sunlight into oxygen and gives it back. But if it gets too hot, those forests are already dying back and they will now start to be giving off more CO2 than they can absorb. So you now have a chain reaction where you are now going across a tipping point where what was doing good is now doing bad for you. And this also plays out in certain other areas with the ice caps, and it's a heavy science. And this is why the scientists are panicking. And the Secretary General at that conference, when he said that it's now an emergency, he said we're actually heading towards climate hell. It's like being inside a big bus and you're going towards a cliff where there used to be a bridge. The bridge is broken, you're heading straight towards that cliff, but your foot is still on the accelerator. You never even come out foot for accelerator, let alone jam brake. You're just going boom. Because in 2015, you said you're going to reduce this CO2. By 2023, it had never been so high. After agreeing to reduce it, signing contract and everything, we're going to reduce it.
But what?
Money.
Wow.
Money. Wow. And that's why the scripture says the love of money is the root of all evil. And this brings us into the spiritual aspect of it.
It reduces a human being to more like an animal or something.
Yes. But the challenge is that money answers all things.
Yes.
So basically it's saying
it shouldn't control you. That's what I believe.
Exactly.
You
shouldn't love things.
Money should be like our servant.
Thank you. Don't love things
for you.
Love who you really are. Know your true identity. And this is the thing. You see, we've been dislocated from our true identity. And this is what we try to tell some of the young people when the Gen Z people come to the Fassi Park, or when I went to go and see them at Unilag and gave that lecture. And I could see I was talking a little bit above them, because basically we were saying, look, we have to change. The good news is that we're going to change. We're going to have a renewal of our minds. We're going to become far more caring, far more compassionate, far more loving people. We're going to follow scripture. And the two major scriptures, they tell us the same thing. We say that we have to love each other. They say we have to have peace be unto you. Come on. How can you be expressing love if you're destroying your neighbor's life support system? How can you say, okay, peace be unto you, and you want to cause chaos in nature, which will now make that person be starving? But
this is deep.
But the process is, and this is what I told the Gen Zs there. I said, okay, you people, you see, we have to know our true identity. And let me speak in the language that you will understand. So they were looking at me, this one. I said, okay, here we go. We're going to do it. And it went like this. I turned my head, I turned the cap and everything. I said, gather around, people, come and listen to me. We're going to share a great mystery. When you pick up the phone and you take a selfie, look very close at the image. You see, that image is not your true identity. You are a spirit soul waiting for the Lord to come and take control. Know who you are.
Wow,
this is just the covering. Don't feed the flesh. Don't be loving the things.
Yes, you got the language.
Yeah, so
they must have gotten your message.
Well,
wow.
I mean, to call this.
You can rap as well. This is beautiful, honestly. Anyway, I'm coming to that. I'm just keeping more like the best for last. Let me leave it at that. Though I know you are into music as well.
Yeah.
You do music too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from way back. Way
okay.
back.
if you're out there, I tell you, this is quite informative and educative, as well as enlightening session here with our guest talking about Mr. Desmond. Of course, the time is fast spent, but of course, just like I said before now, that aside the environment, we really want to dig into knowing you as a person. Sir, we would want to know how were you able to combine, let's say, family, relationship with your job and everything?
They all just they gave love. They gave love.
Wow.
You know, but I go way beyond just the blood family, which of course is generally the closest. And I look on humanity, I look on nature as my family. You know, even when I see a wonderful squirrel jumping about in the tree and just climbing this tree with its little claws and so on, and then you see butterflies and you hear about them doing massive long migrations, but I look on all the living entities as my family, and I try the best way I can to give love to that family, and I find that it loves me back. And one thing that I'll share with our people is that I discovered this in our farm. When we planted cassava, we never harvested cocoyam from the cassava. What we sowed is definitely what we reaped. And that goes with nature, man.
Yes.
You give nature love, she's going to love you back. She's going to do good things for you. You do bad things, you're going to get the bad back. So that's just the reality. So nature, humanity, that's my family. And I thank them for all the love that they've been giving me, particularly nature.
Such a selfless Nigerian. Such a selfless Nigerian.
My brother, we're going places. This country is one of the greatest countries of the world. And the whole world is going to see that.
Proudly.
We got all it takes, man. Under the soil, between the ears. And also, I'll share a secret with you. But don't let the woman know this. We got some of the most beautiful women in the world as well, man.
and you're delivering it poetically. honestly, we do have, when it comes to human resource, Nigeria is one place that the world should look out
for. Human
resources.
We got it all.
It's massive.
Yes, we got it
massive.
all. We got it all.
It's massive.
Physical, intellectual, we got it all.
Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's something special about this location.
That is the truth. There is. And the world knows it. And I think probably that's what makes us vulnerable.
Yes.
At the same time,
they want to exploit
knowing who we are, even the part of us that we don't know, and then trying by all means to ensure that we don't get to know. Why the fight?
Yeah, exactly. But we're overcoming it.
Why the fight?
We're overcoming it. The changes are coming and there's no stopping it.
Honestly.
There's a sustainability revolution going on, and it's been driven by the youthquake. The young people. Whoa.
I love that term, youthquake.
Oh, it is so powerful. We're already seeing manifestations of it now.
Wow.
Our music is entering different corners of the world.
Tell me about music. I know you are also into music, or you've been into music. You still play?
Yeah. I was well into it. The only thing is my wife was a tremendous singer. She had 100% perfect pitch. My late wife.
Okay. Your late wife. Sorry about that.
Yeah, she passed some time back. And I don't sing very well, so she wouldn't allow me to sing.
Okay.
Because I can't sing. So I became the rapper.
Okay.
Way back in those days.
Wow.
We were making music about the environment and stuff,
Wow.
Yeah, things like now that the greed motivation moving on the fast lane, industrialists, they play a dangerous game, falling all around, a lot of acid rain. This whole situation getting insane. Now all the little children gonna grow up, gonna check out what they got. That's old school rap.
Gen Z should learn from you, sir. Gen Z should learn from you.
Well,
honestly, this is rap with that carries meaning.
Yeah.
And you're doing it quite well. Honestly, I'm impressed. I'm
Thank you.
impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Well,
You're still very young at heart, I must say.
But we got to get back to that, get a bit more significant meaning into the lyrics of the music. This is what I'm really trying to implore.
But are you considering producing any records?
Well, no, but we're going to be making a couple of movies very soon.
Movies?
In the movies, there's going to be some very, very good, meaningful music.
Okay.
That's going to challenge some really serious issues that need to be challenged.
It's going to challenge the status quo.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But also the status quo that so many of us are locked into, again, because of this misidentification of the addiction to things. Again, money answers all things.
All things.
But the love of money is the root of all evil. But if you're going to be loving things, then you're going down the wrong road. No. You got to transcend from that. You got to transcend. You got to go into your spiritual plane. You got to recognize your true spiritual identity. And once you pursue that, the money will be pursuing you.
You're quite spiritual, I must say. You're quite.
I'm trying to be.
You're quite spiritual.
I'm trying to understand my true identity. Because this is just a quote. This is just a covering. It came with the energy force that is making this alive. It came from somewhere, and eventually it's going to discard this, but it's going somewhere. Honestly. And what you do will determine where it goes.
Honestly. Touching on the spirituality, are you also a religious person?
A
religious person?
Yeah, I regard, religion tends to have been used and abused to an extent, But I'm just somebody who is seeking to get a closer, deeper relationship with God Almighty. And I use that word Almighty emphatically because if we really want to encompass the identity of the God who created this earth and the cosmos, the heaven and the earth, if I want to explain him properly, I'll say I'll be saying that all for the next 1 year, mighty, and I will not have explained who he is. Who created the billions of galaxies, and within those galaxies there are billions of stars.
This is huge.
Hey,
this is huge.
This is the God. He who was in the beginning before the beginning began.
Wow.
And expressed the Big Bang to begin the beginning that we know. Come on, man.
You're making me feel like the word God, should I say, is the most underrated?
Very
on
underrated.
A serious note.
Yes, of course.
It's no wonder the Bible warns us about using the name of God in vain.
Yes. We should be very careful how
because no. Honestly, people say God, but I don't think they see Him as what you have just described.
Yeah, well, nature glorifies Him. Nature cries it out, man. Nature. Just this palm tree alone that we have. You're in Lufase Park. We have a lot of palm trees. It started as a palm farm. Just the palm tree alone produces so much. It gives you the palm oil.
Every religion claims to come from God. Am I right?
Every
religion claims it has connection with God.
Yeah.
What's your take about religion as it is now?
Yeah, there's a lot of variations in it, but you can tell.
Do you think there is just one religion that is connected to God, or one could reach God through whatever religion he chooses to follow?
Yeah. As I grow older, I believe in that it's actually more the practicality. Because the confession of the mouth is a wonderful thing. It's very, very good. And there's certain names of God that you can call. And that will inspire and bring power. But are you practicalizing that profession of God? Are you practicalizing? Are you doing what the scripture is telling you to do? Which is what we started on. That the scriptures, the two major scriptures that we have, at least in our country.
The Bible and the Quran.
Yeah, the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran. The Holy Bible is saying, love your neighbor. The Holy Quran is saying, peace be unto you. But are you behaving in a way that will be expressing that love to your neighbor? That will be bringing peace unto you? That's the bottom line. It's the action. It's the action. And the reason why that was necessary, the reason why the prophets and the Savior had to come, is because people have gone so divergent. And despite all that, they're still continuing with the divergence and and nature is saying, okay, so I have to correct you people small. So here's a small slap. Hear that one, I'll give you a bigger slap. Hear that one, okay, I'll give you 1 year's rain in 8 hours, like fell in Valencia, Spain. So eventually, it's a very interesting time, and the changes are going to come, and the Gen Z sustainability revolution is going to rise.
But talking about nature fighting back, don't you think nature itself is a bit biased towards us? I feel like, we don't have any natural disasters.
Yeah, nature. Yeah, of course. Nigeria is a special place.
No earthquake.
Yeah.
No, the weather is moderate.
Yeah.
We don't have anything like extreme cold.
Yeah.
A lot.
Nigeria is a special place.
Nature has been very kind.
She's been very kind. She's been very kind. But if you want to see a classic example of nature fighting back, go to the deep north. Go to Yobe State.
Okay.
Go deep into Nova State. Go to the transition area, and you'll see where the Sahara Desert has just moved on relentlessly. Go to Lake Chad, and you'll see that one of the biggest lakes in the whole world has now become a microcosm of itself, just a tiny fraction of what it used to be, a lake that supplied life to many people. Because of what have we done? We've wrecked the systems there. The natural systems that had the vegetation going, and that vegetation made life come. That vegetation brought rain, brought water, brought livelihood there, relentlessly moving in of the desert. So that's just one of the ways, So even though Nigeria was blessed, if you don't use the blessing in the right way, then you get the curse.
Wow.
Okay.
That's life. Honestly, it's been quite a moment with you. It's been very, very fruitful. We have had fruitful discussions. I learned a lot, and I know the person listening out there has as well learned a lot. Please do well to subscribe to our channel, and of course turn on your notifications so that whenever we bring good content such as these, you will definitely be the first to be notified, and that way you won't miss out. Okay? Shein the Mag is my name, and like I told you earlier, we've been talking to Mr. Desmond Olumuyiwa Majekodunmi. Majekodunmi.
Think of the talking drum.
Okay, Majekodunmi. Majekodunmi.
You got it, man.
I get it. It's been a wonderful time talking to you. In conclusion, I don't know, what words do you have for... I think anyway, it will be two more questions. Let me put it that way. What if you are opportuned to be before the president of Nigeria today? What would you ask of him in favor of the environment?
For the environment?
Yes.
Please bring the green back into our flag. Declare an emergency.
If there is a flag hung there, he would tell you that's a flag.
Yeah.
So which of the flags are we talking about?
Yeah, but it's a flag, but it's a negative symbolism because we've taken the green out of Nigeria.
Flag in a real sense
in the real sense of the word. Yeah. Declare a state of emergency in agriculture. Monitor it very, very closely to ensure that whatever funds are deployed there are spent judiciously and are not spent in the wrong way. Yeah, agriculture, we're really, really good at it, but it has to be sustainable agriculture. Don't, fall into the trap of too much heavy machinery and chemicalization. Our soil is not suitable for that. So, yeah, definitely let the agricultural revolution in Nigeria really, really take place, and then ensure that we also encourage the sustainability revolution. And if you do just those things, your name will live in posterity, and you will have multiple blessings in your life and in your afterlife.
Honestly, thinking about how knowledgeable you are about the environment and how passionate you are, and the catalog of your work so far, honestly, don't you think it would be right? And also with your connection to music, don't you think you could have a project that talks about the environment, maybe putting all these information in brief, maybe in a project of probably, you say, 5 songs, 6 songs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're working on that.
I'm just feeling, because considering, bearing in mind what you just did here, you understand? So I'm imagining how the Gen Zs will now connect, and then they will now say, okay, this is what they're saying in the song and stuff, and you could, it mustn't be your whole song, just you.
Yeah.
Could be like a
group
compilation of. You bring in the Gen Zs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're working.
Give them.
It's a good idea.
Yes,
it's a good idea.
Honestly.
It's so necessary because again, we're talking about an emergency. Yeah, it's a good idea. And we know a few of them. A lot of them come here to our park.
Get some of them that have talent.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them come to the park. Just last week,
they will be guided on how the lyrics.
Yeah, Flavor was here. Davido has been here. Burna has been here. So many of them have been here to shoot their music videos.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea. We'll harness them. Tell them that it's about time to now start giving a more relevant, serious message.
Yes.
Because
honestly,
we've reached a stage, with humanity where we really need to do the right thing.
I pray that happens because I can imagine what impact it will have. Honestly. And then finally, your word to the listener out there.
Okay, to the listeners out there.
The beneficiary of the whole thing that we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I just got one thing to say to you, and it's not actually my phrase, but it goes like this. Let's get together and feel all right. One love. Peace and love to you all. That's the key.
Peace and love to us all. Thank you very much, sir, for coming.